Alright, so One Direction has broken up and we've gotten the Zayn album. Now the Zayn album was smooth, poppy, R&B influenced, and showed his singing chops, but really wasn't that impressive of a show. Now we have Harry Styles, who is coming in on sort of the opposite end of the spectrum. Harry is a old soul. He's looking towards rock music and a lot of these varying shades of singer-songwriters. And on this album, he tries his hand on a variety of different types, and I think a lot of songs go over really well. A lot of songs come off as very meh, or depending on how you feel about them, entirely awful. So the first few ballad-type songs, like Meet Me in the Hallway, Sign of the Times, and Sweet Creature, really caught my attention. They were the singles to this album, and they're the reason I ended up checking it out. And they were, although a little bit repetitive at times, very personal, very grandiose, or sort of intimate with Meet Me in the Hallways. And I think that just this level of songwriting that wasn't so catered and pandering like a lot of One Direction songs were, ended up being a lot more interesting. I think the super grand, almost cinematic presentation of Sign of the Times was super interesting, and I really enjoyed a lot of kind of the more subtle moments on the opener and the closer, so Meet Me in the Hallways and Live from the Dining Room Table. I think that these songs were much more intimate, and Live from the Dining Room Table, you honestly have sort of some background noise. Like, it sounds like it was recorded in these moments of sorrow or loneliness, whereas a lot of the other songs here feel much more grandiose. I'm thinking of Carolina as a good example and Kiwi as a bad one. Carolina being very upbeat and interesting, kind of taking some influence from blues and almost a little bit like, I'd say, Black Keys kind of sounding, probably as a contemporary influence. That's probably where he was looking. But then you have songs like Kiwi, which, honest to God, are these like almost cock rock, like, I think about you, baby. It's really raunchy and it's kind of awful. And the song before that, Only Angel, was another one of those songs that was a little bit more on the raunchy side. Although I did enjoy the instrumental on there a little bit better. I think some of the flourishes got a little bit annoying. Now, not every ballad on this album is as great. I think that Two Ghosts sort of plays on a little bit of a cliched angle with being dead or not feeling without your love. And honestly, there were a few other songs on here that were less engaging. They weren't interesting or quite as attention-grabbing. But I think that the highlights on this album, specifically the singles, Carolina, and the opening and closer, were really interesting. I think they showed a whole new side to Harry that we haven't seen yet. And I'd like to see him sharpen those swords a little bit more and kind of get rid of this cock rock, just loud, ugh, I'm thinking of having you. Like, it's just, get rid of the raunchiness and instead focus on these intimate songs. Just sharpen your songwriting, make it a little bit less repetitive. You can get there.